Yo guys, it's Slyroh. You already know that today I'm bringing you guys my battle for week 2 of the TBU. This week we're taking on Eric, aka Ashton Akai, and his ass Rowlet. And if you guys missed it, the team builder went up yesterday. This is the battle, and yesterday I went into a big ol' explanation as to why I brought everything I brought for this battle. You guys already know the deal with all that stuff. But we did lose last week, and so did Eric, so we are both trying to win if we can, and I feel pretty good about the game coming in, but it's definitely not super in my favor. It's not really super in either person's favor. It's going to really come down to how we play. So just to give a quick rundown of the team, we do have a specially defensive Clefable, as well as a specially defensive Assault Vest, Slowking, also the Clefable A Sunny Day, that's a thing. Palossand has mostly physically defensive with some special attack investment, with a Culver Berry for the Mega Scizor that did not show up, a Choice Banded Arcanine, a Life Orb Lucario, and a physically defensive Rough Skin Rocky Helmet Druddigon. So for all the reasons as to why they are there, the team builder, like I said, up yesterday, and as you can see, Eric brought Uxie, Decidueye, Bibarel, Kingdra, Politoed, and Angoro, and those are all the 6 mons that I really didn't want to see, and they're here. So we have to deal with them, and we're just going to do our best. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just start the battle. I don't think I missed anything. If I did, comments below, and I will clear anything up. But so I had to make a judgment call because I didn't know if he was bringing rain or not. I see the Politoed and the Kingdra, so I'm assuming that he's bringing rain. So I figured that the safest lead for me, he was either going to lead off with Politoed or Uxie to get up Stealth Rocks, and I figured the safest lead for me was the Clefable, because if you start off with Politoed, I can immediately get the sun up and take away his rain, and if he if he starts with Uxie, I can at least try and get some damage off. So Uxie doesn't have reliable recovery, and I also wanted to see if it was physically defensive, especially defensive, what kind of thing we were working with. It's not especially defensive. I am thinking that it's physically defensive, and we also find out it has Yawn. We also find out it has leftovers, not a Culver Berry, so if I want to try and crunch it later with Lucario, that could be something I could do. So, now that I know that, I am going to go ahead and switch out into Boo, the Palossand, making his debut, haha, get it, and he gets out Stealth Rocks. Yeah. So, the reason for this is because I feel like he's not specially defensive, so I can get off a nice and powerful Shadow Ball. He wouldn't be able to T-Wave me, all that good stuff. So, I figured this would be a good thing to do, so I was like, I'm just going to go for the Shadow Ball. He's going to see this coming and go into his Rain Peoples, but he didn't. He actually just goes for a Yawn, as I tried to double back into Clefable. So I'm trying to do all these nice and powerful double predictions and being super cool like that, but it isn't working out in my favor right now. So I'm like, alright, well, if you're just not going to switch out, and if you're going to be a boring person like that, then let's just try this again. And I go back out into Palossand, and this time, he goes for the U-turn. So, he switches it up, which, good for him. That was a good set of plays for him. But it's not the end of the world for me. And what happens here is that he goes into his Bibarel. And this is, I was expecting, it's definitely going to Swords Dance and do damage. So it's time to take care of that. So I go into Druddigon to either take the hit, which it can take any Bibarel hit if it doesn't set up easily, and if he Swords Dances, then I don't take any damage this time. And then the plan goes through as to how to deal with Bibarel, which is step 1, Sucker Punch, so we'll let that play out. Step 2 is going to be Rough Skin Rocky Helmet. A +4 return is going to take out a Druddigon, because Swords Dance simple ability does give Bibarel +4. So he's going to take a lot of Rough Skin, a lot of Rocky Helmet, and it's great. And now E-Speed kills from whichever E-Speeder I decide to go out into. I decided to go out into Lucario because there's less things that he could switch into that would be able to do much to this back. And because of that, he decides to just let this thing die. So, very cool. Lucario gets his first kill of the season, I do believe. And Bibarel is dead, and I am very happy about that. So, he's going to go ahead and bring in the Politoed. And here we're going to hit the first of many unfortunate instances for Eric. I'm going to switch out into the Clefable, because he can't 2-hit KO me, but Hydro Pump in the rain misses. Even though I am especially defensive, if that was some sort of offensive variant, it could do close to 50% and maybe even a roll to do more if he was some sort of boosting item. So at this point, I don't really know what he is. But I go for the Sunny Day, that way he definitely can't take me out with 2 Hydro Pumps. And, yeah, but he goes ahead into Decidueye, and Decidueye is the thing that I kind of was scared of the most because I don't really know a whole lot about it, what it does, how he brings it, anything like that. So I go into Palossand. Palossand was brought for the Mega Scizor, and since Mega Scizor hasn't shown up, Palossand is now being brought as a way to scout. And so I scouted this Decidueye, and that U-turn didn't do very much. That's not max attack adamant. In fact, I don't think there's any attack in that at all. So that's something to definitely keep in the back of my mind for later, because that Decidueye may not be as scary as I originally thought it was. But he is going to go ahead into Politoed. I don't want to stay in here because I can still do some scouting down the road, and Palossand could still be of use to me. So this time I go into Slowking, because I saw Hydro Pump, thinking he's going to go for that again, not Scald, and try and burn me, so I'm not worried about the burn, but he misses another Hydro Pump. Again, this isn't going to matter that much, and then he misses the Toxic, which is going to matter. So Politoed really just needs to go to the eye doctors, because clearly he's having some vision issues, and I do feel really bad. You know, hopefully Eric can get that fixed up, and or just replace it with a Politoed that isn't blind. But as you can see, he then goes into the Decidueye, realizing that he can't hit me with anything because that's just how Pokemon works. And I go into the Fable because I saw that it didn't really have any attack before, and I see how much it does now, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's not that bad. And Moonblast and all that good stuff. Those things might have happened out of order. I know I was talking a lot, but you know what it is. So I go for the Moonblast. We see the leftovers, so this definitely is some sort of defensive thing. And in fact, I do believe, based on damage, I almost feel like this thing was specially defensive, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But he's just going to keep Spirit Shackling me, and based on like kind of how much damage he's doing, actually he gets a crit, which thankfully I Soft Boil, because I was going to Soft Boil anyway. If that was not a crit, I don't think it would have been 2-hit KO at all. But I think he's trying to get me to a spot where he can predict exactly what I'm going to do at what turn. But he is also kind of getting up leftovers, and this is just a very, very long 1v1. This is, I was going to say, this is a 54-turn battle, so this definitely isn't a short battle by any means. But he's going to go for the U-turn this time, possibly thinking that I might go for another Soft Boiled, or he's just ready to take an attack. And I should have gone for the Moonblast, but I'm pretty sure I just go for a Soft Boiled. I don't know. I guess either way works, but I just was playing it safe. But I definitely need to make sure that I don't play it too safe and just let Eric like whittle me down. But he goes for the Hydro Pump, and he actually hits this time. And we find out that he doesn't do 50% anyway, so it's fine. I go for the Sunny Day to get rid of the rain. Not going to let that Kingdra come on in here and sweep me up. So, you know, definitely was not going to let that happen. And then we wait for all of the extra little things to get out of the way. And I believe I do end up Soft Boiling again because... Okay, no, I went for the Moonblast because I don't think at that point he could have 2-hit KO'd me with anything he had. Obviously, I wasn't worried about being toxic, and I wanted to start getting more aggressive. So I go for the Moonblast, and his special attack falls. Not like it's really that big of a deal. I think this turn is going to be kind of the same thing. I think he's going to Yawn again because that's what he does. Oh man, Uxi's making me yawn. Yeah, because this battle. It has its moments, but I go ahead for another Moonblast. I'm basically just trying to whittle down this Uxie because I don't have anything that's going to do a lot of damage all at once necessarily to it. I'm just kind of trying to whittle it down as fast as I can and not let him just continue to, you know, whatever. So, this time I don't actually remember what I do. I might go into Palossand, but maybe not. I don't remember. But I go into Lucario, okay, because I think at this point his special attack's been lowered like by 2 anyway. He probably wasn't going to go for another Yawn. And if he U-turns, I have a good upper hand on pretty much anything he brings in. except for the thing that he does bring in, which is Pangoro. And at the team selection screen, I was like, this thing's Scarfed. The only thing that ever gets brought against me is the Scarfed Pangoro. Nothing else ever gets brought against me for some reason. And because of that, I was ready to, just sack this off. But no. Also, I was going to check for Scarf damage. If you went for knockoff, I would be able to tell, if you Scarf, Banded, see a Life Orb maybe. But I was positive he was Scarfed, and so that's why I made that switch. I was just trying to lock him into the move. But I got lucky with the Drain Punch. That wasn't a prediction of Drain Punch. I just was ready to sack this off. Plus, I had a Cold Berry, so I wouldn't have died, but I would have been able to see. But now I go for the Destiny Bond. In case he would have not been Scarfed, and he would have switched his moves, he wouldn't have taken me out with a Dark-type move. And then he wouldn't be able to kill me because, Destiny Bond. And then, again, I could have went for another Destiny Bond here, but I actually make the double switch, assuming that he would switch, and I go into Clefable. I don't remember if I specifically predicted the Kingdra or not, but just to make me look better, I'll say that I did. And we have this little match up here now, and I know... he actually did have a chance to take me out if he was Specs, but... I didn't think that he was going to bring Specs, to be honest, because I just had some things. So I actually did the safe plan. I switched in the Slowking on the Kingdra, but he double switched into the Decidueye, which is bad for me because he's getting leftovers. I can't really stay in here, and unfortunately, I don't have a lot for Decidueye, so I go ahead into Palossand because I wanted to get some offensive initiative going instead of just going back into Clefable, which I don't think was at full health anyway. And I think this was just the safer play to do. Also because it didn't kill me. This is where I was like 100% million confirmed that like there's no offense investment like at all. Because I know Palossand is a little bit fat, but I mean that should kill if you're offensive. So. I would say I let him take me out here, but I don't really have a choice since Spirit Shackle doesn't let you leave. He gets the crit. Definitely matters not. And unfortunately, Palossand dies without... It did have its uses, and I do think that we will be seeing Palossand once again before the season is over. But this battle was not necessarily for him, so that's okay. This time I go into Clefable, because I didn't want to switch into the Spirit Shackle, but if I get a clean switch, I'll take it. And he U-turns into Uxie. I think I'm just going to yawn every time Uxie's in, but I go for the Moonblast because I'm just trying to get damage. I was kind of hoping maybe for like a crit at some point, maybe like high rolls, and maybe I'd be able to take it out, but it doesn't look like that's happening, which is okay. I don't really like asking for X, but if it happens in my favor, I'm not going to complain about it. But of course that goes two ways. So, yeah, so yawn, all that good stuff, because that's what Uxie does, is it yawns. We saw yawn. I forget if I even skipped. I'd probably skip the turn where it set up Stealth Rocks and like U-turn. So like this Uxie just it does not do damage. It just is really annoying. It's a damage sponge, and it just does Uxie things. So that's why I didn't really want to face it, but it is what it is. But now I go into the Slowking, thinking that I didn't want to go into Clefable, have him U-turn into Pangoro, I think, and then risk that. This one's not much different, but I thought that he might try and go into something else for a change. And he does. He actually goes into the Decidueye instead of the Pangoro, which is better. I just didn't want him to U-turn into Pangoro, which I thought he might have if I went into Lucario. I think that's what it was. I didn't want to go into Lucario because I thought he would U-turn into Pangoro. That's what I meant. There's so many different turns in this battle, so if I make some of them up, I do apologize. But now I switch into Clefable on the Decidueye because, in my mind, I feel like I win this 1v1 every time, even though it is a little bit long of a 1v1. I do still feel like I win it unless he gets a crit, but if that happens, I can just blame the game, and I can still think that I'm really good at Pokemon. It's fine. Anything that makes me look better, it's great. It's great. So I'm just going to go ahead and soft blow it. I think this lasts for a couple turns, so we're just going to, like, I don't know, just pretend that you're having fun for the next, like, 4 turns, and, you know, it is what it is. So, Spirit Shackle. Take a guess. Alright, we're gonna play, dang it, I don't know, I didn't come up with anything. Flamethrower! Oh, I went for Flamethrower, fooled ya, and that still doesn't do that much. So, that's why I think this is especially defensive, but we get the Flamethrower burn. Very unfortunate, especially since this is a physical attacker. Eric is getting no luck. He missed like 2 Hydro Pumps of Toxic, and now he's gotten burned. And I was like, this is the turning point of the battle. I was like, this is going to win me the game, because this Decidueye is burned. He has nothing that can do damage to me. I have switch-ins to Kingdra. I have switch-ins to this. I have switch-ins to everything that he has, and it's great. Except for Pangoro, but Pangoro, I can play the, you know, the choose what you want to choice yourself into game, which we still get to play a little bit later. We'll get to that. But I go for the soft boiled as a safe play. I could have just went for the Moonblast to take him out, but I wanted health because health is delicious. And yeah, so now we're back to this. And we find out Uxi's full moveset because he is going to go for Ill Bell, which means Decidueye is burned, which good for Eric. He doesn't get screwed over technically by like a Decidueye burn. I guess technically he has to sack off his Uxie, but I mean it was about to happen soon anyway. So, I mean, at least the Flamethrower burn didn't happen after his Uxie died. There's the silver lining. I don't know. And we're back at full health, because Clefable is a monster. It is literally ridiculous how much of a monster Clefable is. And there's Pangoro. And I was like, he needs Clefable dead. If Clefable doesn't die, he loses this game. He has to go for Gunk Shot. Let's call that prediction, and let's get that prediction right. That's right, we predicted it right. He went for Gunk Shot. No bueno, not up in my house. So he's going to switch out. And I believe I go for Ice Punch because if he went into anything that wasn't this, I don't know. For some reason, I kept thinking that he was going to predict like my fighting and normal type moves and go into Decidueye, which never happened, but I just kept thinking like it was going to happen. But I went for the Ice Punch. That still did respectable damage, and I'm good with that. And so now I'm just like, screw it. If he switches into Decidueye, it is what it is. But I'm just going to go for the close combat. Look at that Politoed go down. It's so beautiful. Mwah, so beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I could watch I could watch things die to Lucario's close combat like for the rest of my life, and I would be super happy. It's great. It's like one of the best things ever. But now Kingdra's here, which is not the best thing ever because I have to deal with it. So we're going to go ahead into Slowking, which is my designated Kingdra answer, and Eric is going to freak me out by going for a Focus Energy. I was not ready for this at all. I thought you were either bringing Rain or a Critra. You don't bring both. He brought both. My head explodes, and then it comes back together. I need to think about what I want to do. All right, so we're gonna think about this. Okay, it didn't take me that long to think. He got the crit. Whoa. Who would have thought? That's what Focus Energy does. Dragon Tail, get yourself out of here. Take that damage. That's actually pretty good damage, if I do say so myself. Kingdra's out. As long as it doesn't go into Pangoro, we're fine. Dang it, it's Pangoro. That sucks. Alright, so we got Pangoro, and I have to think about what the heck he's going to go for. And I just decided to go into Arcanine because I was like, maybe if he goes for knockoff, he can knock off my Choice Band, and then I can switch up moves, and then I don't need to worry about locking myself into like Extreme Speed or something with Decidueye coming in. It's great, but he goes for Drain Punch, and that hurts. It hurts. It hurts deep inside. And but it actually didn't do half, which means that he dies to a close combat here. He knows that, and he's going to switch out. And I'm going to close combat him. And this comes so close to killing. Look at this. I don't even know if that was a roll or not, but it doesn't matter. That was so close. The important thing here is that Kingdra is in E-Speed range from either Lucario or Arcanine, which is fantastic. That's all I really need. Kingdra has basically been taken care of as a threat. He double switched back into Pangoro. That's such a good play. That's such a good play. It's ridiculous. I'm so jealous. But now I really thought about switching in to Clefable on this knockoff, but I figured if he choices himself into knockoff, I can go into Clefable anyway. Slowking dies. I don't need to switch into Kingdra anymore. It's not necessarily. Like the 3 things left deal with Kingdra, so it don't matter. But Pangoro gets a kill, and then we go into Clefable. It's great. All right, it's great. The thing is, he has 3 Pokemon left. They don't want to deal with Moonblast. I mean, you got this thing, but it doesn't want to deal with a flamethrower, right? So as long as I do the correct set of plays, I still win this game. All right. So he is at about half leftovers, goes up, all the good stuff, and he is going to shackle me very spiritually. My spirit has definitely been shackled. Clefable has probably the most shackled spirit of any Pokemon in existence right now. So take that for what it is. And I go for the Moonblast. Why? That's a good question. Probably should have went for Flamethrower, but Moonblast. I thought for some reason that it might be a 2-hit KO. Like, but look at that damage. It's not a 2-hit KO. I'm really close to just figuring out how to time travel, so I can time travel to the past and slap myself up beside the head and tell myself to go for Flamethrower, because that was kind of stupid. But like I said, I feel like I win this 1v1. It's all good. He has Roost, and I'm like, oh, Decidueye gets Roost. I should have known that, especially since he is a defensive set. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I went for Flamethrower this time because I decided to grow some brain cells. But that still doesn't do that much. And I'm like, oh. I was like, if I want to win this 1v1, I have to set up the sun, don't I? Oh, man, if he predicts me to set up the sun and he switches into Pyroar right now, I'm going to be in bad trouble. But let's go ahead and do it anyway, alright? So this is the deal. He's actually going to stay and go for Spirit Shackle again. I don't know how much more shackled my Spirit can get, but he's going to keep trying to shackle it more and more. Alright, so I go for Softball at first, because reasons. Health reasons. Because being healthy is good for you, and you should do it. If you take anything away from this video, it's be healthy, be happy, and be who you are. And as these leftover animations are just going to keep going and going and going and going and going, now you're going to see that we're going to set up the sunny day, and he still goes for the Spirit Shackle, and I'm like, great, I didn't blow this game away. Hooray me. But he's going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and do the sunny day things, and then it's going to get super bright outside, which is really nice. Especially with how cold it's been outside. It's great to see some sunlight, even if it is artificial in-game, in another virtual universe sunlight. Yeah, it's close enough, alright? It's close enough. So we have the sun up, and I'm like, well, even if he switches out, he's still taking a lot from Flamethrower, so let's go for it. And he is probably going to try and get me to the range that he thinks I'm going to soft-boiled, and then he's going to switch out. And in my mind, I'm like, alright, I'm at the range where I would normally go for softball. What if I don't? And I was like, what if he uses this time to switch into Pangoro? I was so close to going for a Moonblast here. You guys have no idea. I was like, he can't kill me with the Spirit Shackle right now. If I go for the Moonblast, like he dies to Moonblast, or he ends up killing me, and, you know, whatever. So, Moonblast is the best play to go for here. And he U-turns into Pangoro, and I go for the Flamethrower. Why am I stupid? I was so close to going for Moonblast. You have no idea how close I was. If only the Flamethrower burn would have come on this play and not the previous one that happened, I would be super happy. I thought he might go for Gunk Shot, but I really couldn't risk it. If I would have predicted that, that would have been great, but I should have just predicted the Pangoro switching in, which I almost did. I feel like in my mind I did, and I just didn't act on it, and now I go into Lucario, and, yeah, so he still has his 3 things. I'm now down to 2 things, which is not good, but we're basically playing a game of, you know, which thing do we want the other person's fighting type to kill. So he chooses Kingdra, and Kingdra dies to close combat. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't it beautiful watching Lucario close combat things? I'm telling you, it's such a beautiful thing. Very, very beautiful. But up until that last turn, I was winning in my mind. I was like, I can't lose this game. But guess what I did? Pangoro comes back in, and 2 Drain Punches kill my remaining 2 Mons. I lose this game. The only thing I can do here to kill Pangoro is to E-Speed with Arcanine, but I'm Choice Banded, and his last Pokemon is a Ghost type, which means I can't win. I lost. I just lost the game, and I am more upset than you could possibly imagine. But I go into Arcanine, and I lose. this was just a 50-50 that I didn't really think twice about. I was like, if he wants to be cheeky, he'll know I have to E-speed, and then he'll switch into Decidueye, because he knows I'm banded, probably based on the Kingdra damage. So I actually went for Flare Blitz here just to see if he was going to be cheeky. If I E-speeded, it would have been a 1-0 loss instead of a 2-0 loss. I could have helped that differential, but it was a 50-50 that I didn't really think about. Because if I had went for E-speed and he had switched into Decidueye, then I still lose 2-0, and I look stupid either way. This was a fantastic game. Alright, so like I was ahead for most of the battle, and then at the end I didn't have it. I feel like I mismanaged the end game. I feel like there was predictions that I wanted to make and I didn't act on. And I feel like I was playing so good for most of the game, and then it fell apart, and it sucks mostly because I can't pinpoint one exact moment where it fell apart. Outside of like one of the last turns where I flamethrowered the Pangoro coming in, but like even that, I feel like there was something before that like must have put me down on this path of losing, and I don't know what it is, and that kind of makes me mad. But I really can't be too upset with how I played, even though we're now 0-2. Playoffs are looking very far away. One more loss, and there's pretty much no chance. So this really bummed me out, but I really don't know what else there was to do. I felt like I played really well. I felt like I was making predictions, and then I didn't make the right prediction at the right time, and it cost me the game, I guess. So it is what it is. We lose that game, and that is that. I don't really have any other thoughts beside that. So next week we take on Alex, the Birmingham Spritzy. Last time I fought Alex was in the PPL and we lost. So, and the fact that I've been losing to start off the season is not really helping. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. He also has a really scary team, but it is what it is. We'll figure that out next week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this week. Make sure you go check out Eric. His links will be in the description below. And that is about all I can say. So, any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments below. And I think that should wrap it up. So, thank you guys for watching. Until the next time, guys, stay sly.